alive, children alive who are, say, 20-week fetuses, which, you know, is fine. But if they don't have health care, how are they going to survive this? So you can't say, okay, I'm going to support keeping every fetus alive that's viable and then not provide health care for them. So I think that this is a very huge issue.
She does want to provide, again, she's in support of the CHIPS program,
Right.
which we've discussed.
But
so
I haven't seen
very
her
much.
be, and I know she's in support of it. She
Well, it's
will
already,
be,
she
is,
has voted
but
for
she
it.
needs
Yeah.
to be a little more vocal about it.
Okay,
And
well, she
I'm also
voted for it, that's probably the most important
Right,
thing.
right,
I mean,
right. But,
and if I may, just to respond, because I don't want anybody to go walk away, and there's a TV camera here. Using your numbers, you said you gave $4,000 last year.
Yes.
If your standard deduction, if you take the standard deduction in 2018, which would be increased, almost doubled, that would more than compensate for the $4,000 you
Not if
No,
you lose your
it-
personal
It
exemption.
won't. It won't.
For your charitable giving?
If you lose
Because-
your personal exemption, that cancels out a big part of the extending of the, standard deduction.
But it's a balance. I mean, that's the whole point of raising the deduction, so most people will not have to pay someone to do their taxes for them. Save them, who knows, nothing against H&R Block or any of the other companies, but it is a lot of money for a lot of folks, and if they can save $100, $200 a year by not having to have their taxes done by a professional tax preparer, Vicki Hartzler believes that that's important. They can save that money and spend it on their own.
In the first place, I'm married, so, you know, we're talking.
So you're going from 12 to 24.
We're talking about 24,
Oh,
and so,
that's a big-
you know,
that's a big
you know,
jump.
it's still, it's, by the time you have all the other things that you talked about, property taxes, income taxes, the other kinds of deductions that you have, it's definitely going to be a loss. But the other thing that I also wanted to bring up, which is related to the emails that I received from Vicki Hartzler, how come these are paid for by taxpayers? How come they're not paid by her election fund? Because she has a little thing down at the bottom.
Sure.
This is paid by the taxpayers.
Yeah, that is something that every member of Congress has access to inform the public, their constituents, of what is going on in Congress. And you get the same thing at the state level as well. And you're in a county building here, if people who are in the county level, your county commissioners want to send you something, that too is paid for. It's informing the public. And most people are quite happy to be informed that way. They
Well,
want
it's good to be informed, but I think that, you know, people have their own little, well, I won't say slush funds, but they have their own funds that it should be paid for that way.
All right, noted.
Next
And
question.
we'll go here.
Okay, I too am a retired teacher, and no way do I have the kind of money that wouldn't benefit from a $12,000 standard deduction. I don't know how you guys do it, but I wish I could do it too. There are some mixed messages about who benefits, and my understanding is that some people say that, you know, the middle class doesn't benefit, and other people say 90% of the middle class benefits. Could you clarify that? My understanding is only the very rich don't benefit.
Well, it's interesting, is there's a news story this morning that Walmart
I saw that.
has...
$15 an hour.
They've raised the minimum wage for starting employees. They're giving special benefit packages to many of their employees, and they are citing the tax law as a reason for this. There are other companies as well, several in our district. We have some banks in our district. Commerce Bank, for instance, which is in our district, is giving $1,000 bonuses to its employees and saying that it's as a result of the tax reform legislation. So that they're coming through and saying this. But here is the bottom line. Come February, you will see, those of us who are working, will see something on their tax return. They're going to see more money. Not a tax return, excuse me, on your paycheck. You're going to see a little more money. As we all, I spoke to another group recently and pointed out, Missouri's the show me state. You hear one side saying you're going to pay more, the other side saying you're going to save money. Come February, you'll know who's telling you the facts. We'll show you.
The other thing is on standard deduction, I thought that for mortgage deduction, there was a $10,000 in interest. That would be $750,000 in personal property from my understanding. So you would have to have more than $750,000 worth of property not to benefit?
Well, it's the mortgage debt, and in Missouri, the average mortgage debt throughout the state is $134,000, nowhere near the $750,000 threshold. In fact, nationally, it's only $163,000. So now I know there have been many parts of the country, New York City, for instance, in which property values are through the roof. San Francisco, property values are through the roof. But here in Missouri, most people are not. We're nowhere near that. So I'd say most Missourians. There might be some. I'm sure Rex Sinquefield, a billionaire, is probably his home is much more. He has a bigger home than many of us sitting in this room.
But he gets grandfathered in.
It's just $1 million.
Yeah. He gets grandfathered in.
And everybody else with $1 million too. But he doesn't have. I doubt he even carries a mortgage at this point. but anyway, that's something to keep in mind. So we've gone around the table and we've got a few. Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm Pat. You missed me because I
I
deferred.
Go ahead, Pat, we're having here.
So I have this simple question. So this is really nice. This tax cuts. Oh, it's nice. Well, I'm on Social Security. I got my 2% increase this month, woo. And but what's going to happen when the tax increase means there's no money in the budget? You know, like all of a sudden, oh, we don't have money to pay because there was a tax cut and now we don't have money. Oh, what are we going to do? Let's cut Medicare. Let's cut. What are they going to cut to make up for the money they've taken out of the budget? That's scary.
Go ahead.
The automatic cuts that were going to happen to Medicare and Medicaid due to the tax cut, based on the Senate's rules, were waived by Congress, so they will not occur.
They're not in there.
They took those out, and that's why Trump signed it in 2017, technically last year.
No, that's it. And the
That's not real. I don't believe it.
Well,
Because
They
it's,
waived
I mean, it
the
sounds
signed
good
it.
today, so maybe they won't cut my money, but they're gonna cut.
Okay, well,
I'm
I
sorry
mean,
to
you
interrupt
estimate
you,
yourself.
but
Yeah.
I
You
know
estimate
we're getting to
yourself
the
and answer
end,
yourself.
and we both still have questions, so can we get to those questions?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's 5 minutes, and I'll
Yeah.
probably have a room
We
reservation.
have another meeting, that is true.
Yes. Whichever you want to go.
We'll do a rapid
Okay,
round.
so, yeah.
I will do it quickly because virtually every issue I wanted to raise has already been raised, but just a few things to add if I could on some of these.
Okay.
The representative versus, when talking about Planned Parenthood and the ongoing battle against Planned Parenthood in Congress, it's always been a question for me, sort of something that doesn't make sense in that why would you want to cut funding to the premier family planning organization when you are opposed to abortion? That doesn't make sense to me. So I would think that if you want fewer abortions, you would want to support planning, family planning, in addition to all of the other wonderful things Planned Parenthood does for healthcare. Also too, in terms of healthcare, the individual mandate is gone. It is widely projected that that will be the end of the ACA. Does healthcare have to be funded by the individual mandate? I don't really think it does. I think there are other options, but I would like my representative to formulate a better healthcare alternative. Maybe Obamacare and the ACA isn't the best way to go, but it seems to me that from a congressional point of view, if you are over 65 and can do Medicare, or if you are a young person and are covered by the CHIPS program, then you are valuable members of society who deserve to be healthy. For people who are in their prime, who are working and are paying taxes, there is no safety net, virtually no safety net. You can say it's Medicaid, but you know, there are a lot of people who don't qualify for Medicaid but still can't afford health care. So I would like to
Missouri being prime among them.
I would like to ask Representative Hartzler to address that. Coming back a little bit to the military budget, the Supreme Court ruled that the individual mandate was essentially a tax. And you've said that Representative Hartzler didn't support the individual mandate because if you live and breathe, you should not have to pay a tax to buy something that you don't want. I would like to know when it may be that I can choose where my tax dollars go, because I would like to not. When I can do that, I'm hoping there'll be an email to go out there.
Well, you do that through voting. That's how you decide where your money's spent. You vote.
Well,
And that,
Not when they're two
Congressman-
Congress running.
Can
The congresswoman's
I
been
know we
voted
only have a
in.
minute left, can I
Minutes
ask my
left.
question? It's very simple, yes or no question, if you're done, so I don't mean to.
Well, we haven't.
Well, I
please go
I
ahead.
wanna
Okay, wait.
insert here,
I'm
I
sorry,
can
Wait,
tell
hold
I
up,
you.
hold up.
haven't had a
wait.
chance to speak to my
Go
concern. You know, right now Missouri is having a really tough time with our national reputation, and that was before our honorable governor's misdiscretions last night. The NAACP has issued a travel advisory for our state. I'm a small business and I do a lot of tech work, and I really depend on companies coming in that from the tech world, and they really value inclusive and non-discrimination statutes. Representative Hartzler held a press conference about Jack Phillips, and I was wondering, did she hold that press conference supporting that based on her personal religious views, or did she poll her constituency to see how they feel about that? Because I am really worried about sustaining a life in Missouri with our business climate right now being perceived as a discriminatory state.
I didn't hear, who did she have a press conference for? I'm sorry.
Jack
Jack
Phillips, the baker.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, if you don't have the support of your constituency, you don't win elections.
Did she poll the constituency, or is that based on her personal religious views?
It's based on the results of the elections.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, she said they have this rebooked
Be-
now.
Before we go, can I just say that I had another issue, and it's arguably the issue of the day, which is